I'm going to do some hip strengthening exercises today. So to start, I want you to just warm up your hips a little bit. So if you could step on a step, I'm just going to use the fireplace here, just hold on to something, and just kind of move your leg like a pendulum. So just kind of side to side, just kind of loosen up the hip a little bit. You can do like 10, 9, and 10. And then from here, I want you just to, so we're working the supporting hip, so my left leg. I'm going to drop the hip and then lift. Okay, so you can see my right hip dropping down and then lifting, but what's doing the work is my right leg is dropping and my left hip is lifting. So just kind of warming up the hip. 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then just turn around and repeat on the other side. So start with your pendulum, it's just side to side, keeping the abs engaged so you don't want to arch your back. And stay nice, as neutral as possible. And just let the leg hang so there's no tension in the leg at all. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. And once again, I'm going to do the hip drop, hip lift. So now I'm working my right hip. I'm dropping it down, dropping down my left hip, and then lifting my right hip. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now I want you to grab a chair just for to use for balance, and we're going to do some knee lifts. So with the knee lifts, I'm going to work the right leg first. You're working the hip flexor, so we're still warming it up. So once again, you want to stay nice and upright. You don't want to round the back as the knee comes up. Lift and lower. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now turn facing the chair, and still with that right leg, it's going to bring the leg out, bring it in. So once again, we want to stay upright. You don't want to lean as you bring the leg out. You want to feel that hip working. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then from there, you're going to work the glute. So once again, you don't want to come forward. You don't want to arch the back too much. You will maybe a little bit, but just find that control. So feel the transverse muscles in the oblique helping you stabilize the pelvis. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then from there, you're just going to go over to the other side. You probably don't have to move your chair. Okay, so we're going to start with the knee lifts with the left leg up and down. 3. I would just stick with 10 the first time you do this video. If you feel like you can do more, go ahead. But we have quite a bit of exercises still remaining. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to hold on to the chair just to kind of keep the form, it helps, and just lift and lower the leg out to the side. So it's abduction and trying to stay as upright as possible. That's when you're going to really feel the muscles around the hip. Okay, now if this is too tense, don't go to as far, just go as far as where you can maintain stability. 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then once again, working the glute. It's another muscle that surrounds that whole hip joint. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to put the chair aside for now, and I'm going to come down to the mat. So lie down on your back, arms down by your side, and we're just gonna go into a pelvic tilt. So not quite like an imprint, we're just tilting the pelvis, feeling the low back push down towards the mat, and then release. So you can use the glutes on this one. Usually with imprint, we don't use the glutes because it's for a different purpose. So I would do 10 of these also. Feel like your hip bones are going towards your ribs. The low back is pushing down towards your mat, and you might feel your glute engagement a little bit, which is fine. Let's do 3 more. Breathing's always a good thing. 2 and 1. Okay, now from here, it's going to go into a shoulder bridge. So line up your heels with your sit bones. They don't have to be super close. We're not doing a yoga pose. We're just shoulders down again, head looking straight up, always protecting your neck. Lift the hips up, tuck your tail under, feel that glute squeeze, and then drop down. So you're not articulating your spine, you're just lifting your hips straight up and straight down. Lift and lower. Feel the glutes engaged. Tuck your tail, feel the sit bones reaching towards the back, towards your calves. I totally lost count, so let's say 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. And come on down. And then just lie down onto your side. Line your back up with the back of the mat, just so you're in a good alignment. We're going to do our clamshell. So both knees are bent, and just kind of think of like a 45-degree angle from the hip to the knee, and a 40-degree angle from the knee to the ankle. Okay, now try not to roll the hip back. You want to keep that hip stacked on top of the bottom hip, and then just lift and lower your top leg. So you do not want to do this to try to get a little bit more range. You just want to lift and lower, lift and lower. Now if you can stabilize the pelvis, you're going to feel that glute a lot. 8, 9, 10. Now to progress from this, if you found that wasn't too hard, you can always throw the mini band around the knees. So, and do the same thing, lift and lower. You're going to feel that probably a lot more, but you might not need the band. If doing it without the band was enough, stick with that for now. But if you use the band and you still want a little bit more, you can even grab a weight. I just have a 5-pounder here, and then add even more resistance, okay? So it's just a progression. Start with no band and progress up. Okay, now from here, we're still on the same side. We're going to go into leg abduction again, but lying down. So bottom knee is bent, so you have a nice base of support. So I want you to lift that top leg up and lower it down. So once again, we're trying to keep the same length between the hips and the ribs, so you're not, so you're staying in proper form, and that's when you're going to feel the muscles. If I go like this, I'm rounding my back, I'm getting much more range, but it's doing nothing. Okay, so you want to lift and lower, and almost feel like you're really elongating your leg, trying to reach the toe to wherever the wall is, trying to touch the wall. Let's do 2 more of those, and 10. Now from here, just bring that leg back, or you can actually, if your hip allows you, you can bring that leg right, the foot on the floor, so it's my left foot. My right leg is going to work the inner thigh. So we're working, it's another part of the hip joint, so the inner thigh connects to a lot of the hip muscles also. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can always drop that leg down, do the same thing. Okay, and once again, if you want to add more weight, you can lift and lower and putting the weight, a weight on your inner thigh to lift. Okay, so let's do the other side. We're going to start with the clamshell. I'm gonna do it without any props. So lie down, find your alignment. Always good to find the alignment first before you start progressing. Hips stack one on top of the other, 45 and 45, and just open and close. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Notice my hips not falling back. And 10. Now I'm going to reach that leg nice and long, lift and lower. Now what I tend to do, and you don't have to, but I point the toe as I lift it, and then I push through the heel as I lower. So I'm still feeling the inner thigh as I lower the leg, trying to create resistance, my own resistance. I'm trying to really elongate the leg, keeping long to the waist. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so now from here, we're just gonna lie down on, oh, sorry, I forgot the adduction. So you're gonna put your foot down or the knee down and just lift and lower the bottom leg. Okay, so I'm feeling the inner thigh working. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so now lying down on your belly, you can just rest your forehead on your hands and just relax the upper body. But I'm going to start with my right leg, and I just want you to lift and lower. So this is a progression from when we were standing. So when you're standing, it's a little easier. Same with the adductions. So it just kind of, so progress into this exercise. If it's too much, if you're feeling your back twinge, you're probably going up too much and you're not stabilizing, you're not pulling your abs in enough. One thing you can do, if you find that happening, I would do with 2 towels. Put the towels underneath your hip bones, and it might actually help you stabilize a little bit more. Okay, so just think of propping yourself up a little bit, and then you'll just do the left leg, same thing. 4. So I want you to feel the glute muscle first, and then the hamstring. I don't want you to feel the hamstring first. So think about where the movement is coming from when you lift and lower your leg. And 10. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the chair for a minute. I will put the mat aside for now. So now to progress up with the knee lifts, you can sit in a chair. You would think that it would be easier, but it's not. So this chair is a little bit too big for me because I can't get my back against the back of the chair. So I would probably throw a pillow here or something just to support my back and just to make sure I'm staying upright. I'm going to hold on to the chair and just lift and lower one leg 10 times. So you'll notice it's a smaller movement, but you're going to feel it a lot more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then just the other leg for 10, 9, 8. Once again, I'm trying to keep my upper body as stable as possible, keeping the abdominals engaged. 2 more, and 10. And if you want to progress, so a couple different things, you can put a weight on your leg to lift, or you can use your mini band again. And starting with the right leg. So make sure you have some resistance here, so you can see this. And then lift and lower. So now I have resistance as I'm pulling the leg up. And then you'll do the same on the other side. Okay, now from here, this might be enough. Stop when you're fatigued, because you don't want to go overboard. Okay, and you're just going to do seated squats, so chair squats. So you're just going to sit down, come up. Sit down, come up. Okay, do about 10 would be good. If you can get a lower chair, that would be even better. but maybe not, okay? It might be too much for the hips if you go lower. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, once again, I'm going to put the chair aside and bring the mat back. Oh, I don't need a mat for this one. Actually, I'm going to use the chair just to help stabilize. And we're going to do stationary lunges. So you can hold on to the chair so you don't have to worry so much about your balance. I'm stepping my left foot back. Now my right knee is going to be, when I bend the knee, is going to be in line with the second 2 toes of my foot. So I just want to lower and lift. So now as I'm straightening my right leg, I'm really pushing through the heel. So I want to feel kind of more the back of the leg and the glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're just going to switch legs. Okay, so let's drop the knee down, lift it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just find your alignment. Make sure that knee isn't coming in or out. 8, 9, and 10. Now I'll put the chair aside. So after all that work, we do want to stretch the hip out a little bit. So grab your mat again. And I'm going to use a yoga strap. Okay, so I'm going to place the yoga strap around my foot. You can use a tie or a towel, whatever you have, and then just bring that leg gently across the body. Keep your shoulders heavy. So now if this is too much, maybe your hamstrings are really tight, what you can do, and you should try it anyways because you might like it better as a stretch, is bend your knee, put the yoga strap around the thigh, and then just bring the leg across the midline. Now in this position, I want you to still think of drawing your hip away from your ribs. Try to create length, and what you're going to feel is making it kind of a stretch through your low back a little bit on my right side, because that's what I'm working right now. Try to keep the shoulders down, so you don't want to keep the shoulder up. You want to get that nice twist, so think of the belly button going towards the ceiling. Okay, and then you can just switch legs. I'll just put it around my thigh, just to make things simple. And then just bring the leg across the midline. So same thing here. I'm keeping my left shoulder down. I'm trying to draw my left hip away from my ribs. Turn my navel up towards the ceiling and just go as deep as where your body enjoys it and allows it to go. Okay, and then from there, I want you to place that towel or band. Band is really helpful for this one actually, and it's a great stretch. So there's a couple different props you can use to get deeper into the stretch, but really all it is a thigh stretch and a hip flexor stretch. So you're just going to lie down on your belly. The band is around my foot, nice and secure. And it's going to lay down, upper body's relaxed, and I'm just going to pull that heel towards my glutes. And it feels a really nice stretch. So now another thing you can do is just throw a couple towels and do it to see if you like it better. It might feel better on your knee. Is that you put the towels just above the knee, lie down again, and then just do the same thing. So as I'm doing this, I'm concentrating on dropping my hip towards the mat, pushing my knee forward, so I'm creating resistance still with the band, with my leg and the band in opposition. And then just try to relax and breathe in and breathe out, relaxing those muscles. And then we'll switch over to the other side, the other foot. So we'll put it around my same thing. So you might want the towels, you might not want the towels. And just get that nice stretch again. So relax. Okay, and then release. So I would do those multiple times, maybe 5 times. Hold it for 10-15 seconds, release, and then do it again for 10-15 seconds. And then for the final stretch, one of my favorites, is the pigeon pose. So if you come onto all fours, bring your right knee towards your right wrist, reach your left leg back, square off your hips as best as you can, and then just walk yourself out and relax into your hips. If you feel anything going on with the knee, it should not feel like a knee stretch or any kind of pain. All you do is lie down on your back. It's the same stretch, just in a different pose. And you just bring that ankle, so it was my right glute that I was stretching. So it's my right ankle over my left thigh, and I'm gonna dorsiflex my my right foot. And then just kind of open up the hip this way. And then you can bring the leg in if it's available. So if you're lifting up the leg, pulling it in, drop your tailbone down. We still want that neutral pelvis. And then we'll just switch over to the other side. So knee to the wrist, square off your hips, lower yourself down, and sink into it. Once again, if this knee hurts, maybe the first side didn't hurt as much, didn't hurt at all, this side does, turn it around, lie on your back, and go into that figure 4 pose. Okay, when you're done with your stretch, try to hold the same length of time. Okay, just bring your soles of your feet together, sit up nice and tall, and then just hinge forward to wherever you can. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed these hip strengthening exercises. Please don't overdo it. If you're feeling pain, just stop, let it relax a bit. Maybe you can do more the next day. Okay, thank you for joining me.